No, you don't have to go to the slide. Exactly. But it's why did she? Yes. Yeah. Olivia, I haven't seen you at the. You're there today. No. Oh. I was supposed to go there. Yeah. I told you. And how many hours? Oh. Right. Well, I got 29. I'm fine. We went to the coffee and like, oh, no, I did. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we don't even know. I like it, but at the same time, I don't know. I like the same. I like stay and it's functionally probably do harder probably about that.
Oh, I did not.
We'll wait. Trickle in, give people time to set up and figure things out. Just hang out.
Is this like a whole drawn out like 20-minute thing or like how many minutes?
You know, I mean, I think like most people get through in like 10 to 15 minutes.
I could, for my part. Alright.
How many groups? Who's the groups? You? Those two. Us, you two. Yeah, well.
Me, Mandy, Acosta.
Oh. Yeah. You'll be president, but. One grade, most of the stuff that we didn't know.
Are you talking about discussion? I snuck on there one day and just did them all, cause I was like, I'll forget. Yeah, we got discussions. At least 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I throw myself looking.
Oh.
One time I was getting this kind of styrofoam. Oh, kids. I would have. And then. So the next day. I spread out the water. What, I might have to extra. That color. Yeah. What do we need? Another time I was showing this for boyfriend. Never do that. She's a boyfriend. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We have all our members, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you went. Okay. You guys can talk about stuff. And then, yeah, so let's just, all the group members that are here. So yeah, you need to regroup, this is one group, and Dr. Station. You have the addition table too, so maybe if you want to one. Here, so you guys are. Here, this is that. Yeah, I have the. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So you just have.
Yes. Well, you can keep them after a while. We don't usually use those books. It's 6 of these. I've never Oh, well, I'll throw it on.
Also, good news, I'm gonna see you guys again.
What?
I'm teaching a block 4 class. I'm teaching the children's literature
Is that gonna be next spring too?
That's the last one. Yeah, I think it'll be all next year.
Because they split in my books in half. So I'm.
I just did not take any more classes, so then this was the last time I saw you guys.
Yeah. So what is like grade two?
No. 325.
Cause I know
I guess they're only one, so. Yeah, it's just. This is already.
But they can do like.
You're all separate. They switched the name on it.
It's one of them.
I only knew that. Yeah. She's still teaching one. Yeah, but I'll be, I should be looking at spring.
Okay.
There is a six here. So
They could just put it on. I want not to.
and then I'm gonna and then have them do it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, have them try it, and then we're gonna get answers. Yeah.
And the shoe thing, I love.
Okay.
You need water?
I have water too. I have another bottle. You guys have another water though. 'Cause, I don't like water fountain too, so I bought, there's no way.
But online.
If we finish early, I'm gonna go down to get my something.
Per class.
Because I can eat. That was so much, that was so annoying. He's like, oh, I don't think it's good. It's less. I'm like, right. So, man. I couldn't even know. Oh, that was so sad. I was like,
Yeah.
I want those wings.
Yeah.
Yes, I got wings in mine too, when I wanted to eat them, but I couldn't eat them.
It wasn't like I had.
And then 2 days later, like, because that's when I had my
Yeah.
appointment.
I think I'm
You could eat too much. Right there. Okay, I'm still happy.
I told you that,
I never got that class before though, so.
Oh.
We'll see how it goes.
Oh.
I have them pushing. Yeah, that's the other thing. That class,
That's a remote.
that class is listed as remote, but it is not gonna be remote in the fall.
That one?
It's gonna be hybrid. It's the Thursday, Wednesday, yeah. It should not be, it's incorrect. So it should be listed as hybrid. It was listed as remote because the person who was teaching it this semester had like.
Almost the both.
students and they had-
Besides and the bottom.
Oh, chocolate.
Yeah, it's just confused. So we're moving off with five and we're doing this.
Almost every day.
I always think it's six copies of this. If I go to print one for each person, that's. What's it do that?
And then you're done for the day.
You did?
Have to go for that.
Well, that's a link to the, my, the 325 will be hybrid.
I used to love to go.
Yeah.
I used to love to go.
Maybe
I
a
have-
devil.
I little sister, it's really hard for her. They want like that. It's really hard for me.
She's definitely, she is a traditional, but she's. I don't know. People really like, I don't think I like my.
Yeah.
There's two options.
Yeah, so when you told us yesterday.
Okay, you're good. All right. Okay, is everyone good with their group? Because we're gonna get started. Okay. So this this lesson is designed for first grade students. The theme is transportation and maintenance. The central focus is to use, it is the use of transportation in the community. The design results of first grade to explore how to introduce people and build with the community and engaging in hands-on problem solving through math making, and engineering.
For the group organization and timing, there will be a total of 3 groups. Each group will contain 6 students for a total of 18. All students are monolingual. There are 2 students with physical disabilities that will need their growth motor control. Each center rotation will take about 15 minutes and more than 20. Extra time will be given for students with physical needs so that they can finish the supervised. Students will be introduced to the statements by immersing them in their new roles as trained engineers, problem solvers, and math designers. They will learn key concepts about how things function within a community, how they transport goods and people, and distances they travel and locations they connect. The stations will be briefly described. For the social studies, we'll design our own city map for real time planners. We'll use paper, pictures, and coloring materials. For the math station, senior tablets and iPads will play a train theme game to practice adding numbers. The link will to play the game will be available on the device. And for science, using a pre-built railroad, you will work with your group to solve the following question. How much weight can your train pull in your cart before they disconnect? They will place objects into the train's cart and attempt to drive the train. Test how much weight a train can carry up the hill before it disconnects, and they will log their trials in science. After doing the station activities, rotation chart with group assignments will be displayed detailing how much time each group will spend with each student. Students will rotate to the next station when they hear the.
So for our learning objectives, we're gonna focus on math first. Using a preloaded game, the students will use their own strategies to solve different problems only reaching to at least level 5, which we'll see later. In social studies, observing the visual copy of Chicago's mind map. Students will create their own city map and must include at least 5 different locations. In the science activity, we will pre-built railroad. The students will work together to balance the most possible way to place their train in each train. But they do not understand it here on standard one studies and using guidance for construct and interpret print and digital math on cultural reference. And for science activity, constructing based on prior experiences and progresses of the design a device that solves a specific problem or people website and people get information history of railroad here in America. This also will cover the Chicago line stations and why citizens need to have this railroad directly to. The future will highlight the participants have had a map will ask the students will draw on their own maps including on the railroad system. The map points at 5 different sections and added. Students can choose where and how many residential buildings they would like. More time can be allowed during the week, so it's project some of it. So here I have our Chicago line that I'm presenting to our students. We have pre-cut images that they can use in their project. They're going to be using coloring and gluing and cutting materials with their own choice. And essentially how this center will be issued is that everyone will have a piece of paper, whatever here. And I would challenge them to just draw a connecting line and kind of circle and however they want represent their train system railroad. I have some similar to the Chicago line system that we were learning at that time. Once that is established, then they would have time to move on to their locations and eventually they would put in the residence. To fill up. And then again, we'll have extra time throughout the week.
For the second station, the online tech station, students are expected to work independently by using their iPads and tablets. The teacher will have the interactive railroad game preloaded so students can students will play this math game by solving for the total sum in a given equation problem. Once solved, the student will find the correct number and tap it on time so that the number can fall into the corresponding train part. The math equations increase in difficulty as the students move through each level.
Number and that's the level that the student is on. Track the logs at the end of the game as well. The game goes up to about level 20 or 21. So we'll look at the addition column at the bottom. We can use whatever strategy fits them most. And as long as they can fulfill that solution at within the time given at the top here, that means quite number for grade students using different strategies, using fingers or representing down. The goal is for them to reach level 5, and the bonus to this is that if they need more time or if they run out of time, they still have the 15 minutes inside of trying and going back. The addition columns are competitive, so it's usually the same equation. They have that familiarity with it, fix all of these. All right, and for collaboration, we have a single railroad so that the students can work together and solve the question. How much weight can we pull in this this is a station that the students have worked with and we've worked with throughout the whole month of training. So they know how to use the materials already. And we have already designated leadership skills for who's going to where and how are they going to cooperate. Students will place pre-selected objects into the train's cart and attempt to drag the train over the hill. If the cart is too heavy, then they'll disconnect as it moves up. The students must find the right balance so that they can move the most amount without the train. While experimenting, they will log their trials, the time journals, and request the changes. Objects orientation and parts and also includes students. So here's our science journal log that will already be put into the science journal, so we just have to move it onto that page. Here we have X amount of attempts. We have objects that is pre-selected. In this case, they would just circle what they had selected during that attempt, and then they would have to mark it over. So for our demonstration here, I have my railroad, it's all nice and ready to go. The children would have to have this many parts at this time, but they are able to change the sequence of the parts. And then you can also take the materials and put them in different. So everything is pretty movable. And I've given this a try a couple times. So most of the time, part 2 on purpose work very nicely. It would usually go over, come through just fine. But at the very end, what I have found as you're experimenting, if you are putting too much weight on the system, say I fill this one with more river than rock, the train carts will disconnect if it is over. So then children would reflect on that attempt and say, hey, I need to switch the orientation or I need to put the weight in different.
So for the assessment, with the observation, no taking. The teacher will observe if students are included, including at least 5 locations and a railroad system. The teacher may provide feedback as to guide students designing routes and locationing. The teacher will observe whether students reach level 5 or higher in the online math game and listen for their problem-solving strategies. She will monitor trial and error times for balancing weight on the train and observing how students adjust object placement after each trial. For a summative assessment, students will present their city maps at the end of the week, explaining their design choices, and the teacher will use a checklist to measure learning objectives. Completed needs improvement, not demonstrated. Just some things here, criteria. The students created a city map with at least 5 locations. Student correctly solved math equations advancing to level 5 or higher. So
They ran all of it.
and the teacher will review the game logs to check if students reach level 5. Students will explain their strategies for solving math problems in the training game, and the teacher will review students' entries in the science group to look for the recording times to see if they successfully balanced it. To conclude the lesson, the teacher will bring students together and have final reflection discussion to reinforce their key takeaways from each station and ensure alignment with the central focus. The students will reflect on their learning of how things transport people and goods, and the importance of maps and planning routes, how effective or how weight distribution affects the train's ability to carry loads of the some guiding questions would be, what did you learn about the trains today? How do trains help our community? And what was the hardest challenge of the question? Lastly, students will share their city maps and explain their routes and design. The group will compare findings from the science stations, discussing which weight balance strategies work, and they will reflect on problem solving using the map. And then these are just some sources.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm not gonna take the time.
All right. Who's that?
That was amazing.
You guys know that? Everyone's gonna do this. Everyone.
We'll just do it.
Oh, like you're. People can come over if you want to see something more closely. It's up to you.
Yeah.
You're the teacher. You tell us.
You said what you want to do. I'm gonna bring it. What? I'm just. Just do just one. I've been over this. Okay. I'm like 3. Yeah, is that okay? Okay, I printed it.
You guys, do you need this at all?
Yes.
Do you have a computer you want to hook up, or is it?
Having the free stuff.
Yeah, we got to, yeah. Yeah. Like. Okay. The next group is ready. Let's get.
Our activity is, based on the water cycle.
This is focus and objectives, so stations teach the students about the water cycle through a visual experiment, being able to visually recognize and find the water cycle. And they learn facts about the water cycle as it goes on. I can identify the processes of the marine cycle. I can describe the process of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, and I can review the water cycle within and stop. The standard alignments, seek information through observation, exploration, and investigation, show awareness of changes that occur in themselves and their environment, and views and share observations of local weather conditions.
For the assessment, informative, we're going to have a session with the teacher, which is talk about water cycle. So the objective is and the reading scale was the phone. Recognize the
All right, here's the collaborative station. So this is for kindergartners. The activity that I would have the kindergartners do is mapping all the different types of water cycles and the correct order, the materials that are taken from. I think the process that is first, the process of discussing the different types of water cycles, just to kind of introduce the ideas. And then the kids will work together or independently through the station to try to be able to match the cycles on their own. And then next, there's images and words of the water cycle. And after they do that, we'll have the kids come off, match the images scattered around the board, and then the teacher with the class will go over which image was correct, and if they were able to match correctly. The rationale, the students were able to learn how the water cycle works in the correct order. So I have like the words that they would match, and I have like the pictures. And then this is the sheet, so then the kids would put like the words here, they glue them on, and they'd be able to glue them to the picture. And then here would be the answer sheet that the teacher would go over with the kids. So that would be what the kids would be doing. For the teacher, let's teacher, this activity would ideally take place in a minute, so we could already have background on the material that was presented. But I would show them the process of the experiment, and then have not done. So for the experiment, you need shaving cream, water, and food color, and the teacher will fill the cup with water. The teacher will put shaving cream on the top for a good house, and the teacher will drop food coloring on the top. And while the teacher is doing this, they would explain the process. So there's many bodies of water in the earth. The water from these bodies of water will evaporate and turn into water vapor. The water vapor will condense inside the cloud, and then precipitation would happen. Precipitation would happen if you didn't spray too much shaving cream. But that's what so the teacher would do it, and then she would have the kids do it and explain it as they do it. This will allow the children to connect the visual experience to what they're learning about the water cycle. Game and also a song. They're gonna play a super droplet cycle game. It's up the water cycle. It's like a little droplet of water going through the whole water cycle. And then if you are stuck, then continue until you pass the level.
cycle stop and a review of the local water cycle as a whole. And the rest of that they will review what they learned in the previous two stations with the game and the song. Then these are the two QR codes for the game and song. You guys can. For the game, the first one is, this would be you hit the lights, raise of light. And then for the second level, I think we'll go to the whole, but the water that I, not that the second one, because I kept on dying.
Keeps moving.
It's supposed to hit the light up to 2100%. And then the second one, apparently you're gonna be hitting one round until you hit that. This is the power. We need like a mouth.
Cool, okay. Got it, got it. I would not.
And you need it for.
So I get that, some other one.
That's, yeah, that's.
Okay, all right, let's come back.
Okay, so that was the game. But in conclusion, wrapping up, I will wrap up by having a discussion with the students and see what they took away and learned from doing the water cycle activities. Yeah. Yeah, precipitation finally happened.
You can ask if they want.
You can have that.
What?
Don't
You
throw
can ask
that
if
in
they
the
want it.
Cycle that.
This.
Great.
You don't wanna get the. Or we don't throw them away. We'll recycle them. Or I'll take them and use them in another.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, we are. She's, yeah. So we're gonna. You guys fight it out.
It's a little different.
Yeah, there are,
No rights or wrongs.
there are few rules. But
So we're gonna have actual like interactive stations and we have that. Yeah.
wow. Something to make. All right. Okay. Okay.
So you guys can station one, which is teacher lens.
All right, so everyone should stand up. You want everyone to stand up and then you can tell us where to go or how to. Okay, okay. I'll do longer.
Station three. Well, they can sit together, there's way too much.
I'm gonna just rotate through all.
Yeah.
So that's on here. And then you can be part of the station. I'm gonna just be a part of all. Oh, I'm gonna rotate, so I can be. Right.
Well, sit here across you or wherever.
Good. Yeah, yeah, all the teacher tips. Is that, yeah, ginger, take elderberry. Oh, yeah. I give that to my kid every day, so, yeah. Gross and they don't wash their hands, they touch everything. They're nasty little. Take care of yourself. Take all your vitamins, drink a lot of water.
Okay, good afternoon, students. So today we're gonna work on math, science, and STEM lesson stations with exploring fractions. So you guys are second grade, so. Yay. By the end of the lesson, you'll be able to identify and represent fractions and use visual models to understand fractions, wholes, and part. So we're going to do some hands-on activities to practice this. And the focus is to get you to understand fractions through real life applications. By using food as examples and interactive models, you're going to be able to understanding of how fractions represent equal parts. You won't read the alignments unless you want me to, or the assessments. You can look at all that. So station one. Teacher-led station. That will be, Cecily's going to guide the students into cutting food items, such as whole pizzas on paper, an apple I believe we have, just various items. And she's going to cut them into equal parts, and then she's going to demonstrate. So, okay, this is a whole apple, and this is so half and half. So then you're going to explain this on your understanding of that. So for that, we need paper, scissors, and the utensils. So station two is our online station. And we have a link for that, where if you guys want to go to this website, you play the fraction game. And it's going to ask you, okay, one, two, what does this represent? And then station three is the collaborative station. So you use construction paper to create visual representations of fractions by cutting shapes into parts, and then you present them. So let's start with one. Let's go around.
You can if you want to.
Okay. So two probably doesn't need.
You probably don't need. However, you have to manage your mind.
So you'll just. Well, this is great. You always do it in every. So you come fraction game. You're help to.
This is the, what they do. This is station.
So I'm like, and to really want to, so you're going to. And now you can make your sheet, whatever shape you want. It could be circle, it could be, so it could be rectangle, right? So whatever, this one has a pouch, right?
Next one is the- Well, what?
Wait, good. Look at this hard one. Oh, yeah. I'm not. So now. Cut that out. Games. Yeah. So just keep the partners, no, like, so hold.
Like, sorry. And if I select the-
And I would like you to make your rectangle. Second grade, you know
Yeah.
Yeah. So fun.
All right, we might second guess Olivia's smartness here. That vote line looks a little.
They have to cut it out.
Okay, so
You want to put 10 feet up.
So now we have one.
Here's one, these top, the top of the face on next one.
Now, present still, identifying.
Oh, yeah, you were right.
Very good. Now,
Broken heart.
what solution one of these people use? No, not to measure, but to make.
Yeah, but now too. I have to watch next.
Plus whatever. And then what is that? Okay, and what happens here? Some. Now, so what if we cut it again and again? So now.
And it turns into.
So you're. Turned into. Turned into this is.
I gotta say, you know what he said. Real fast, it's okay, might be great.
Like this.
Oh, you wanna, say?
Okay, guys.
You made a shape, mine was a rectangle, but.
Oh.
And I cut it in. I cut it. Yeah, I cut it into what? And it makes.
And if you next my heart, split it into. And then her part is split in two, and that equals. She cut her halves, then two pieces. And her part is.
Multiple pieces.
Into multiple pieces.
What a metaphor for heartbreak, distraction.
Acre food. One half. And I'm four. You wanna show? Yeah. So we got 50 and half. One half. Right? Now we got one third. Of a cracker. Yeah, yeah, of a cracker.
Cute, yeah.
One third, greater than a home, you know. And then we cut our chocolate bars into like the fourth, one fourth. Yeah, so on. And that's what we did with our cookies. Section 3, 2. What did you guys do in your game?
Fraction. So this is level 2. The first level asks to select every picture that had equal parts. So there's usually like 2 right answers. And then once you finish that level, then you have to consider which image like shows thirds. So you click here. And then if you got it wrong, some of it wrong, it shows you a little video and it explains slides. And then you the next question and so on.
Yeah, and in a classroom, it would be 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. On the left.
And then at the end of the station, or at the end of the lesson, we'll review, ask what you learned, like we just did. And then your exit slip is 2 questions. What fraction of the pizza did you have? And can you draw a picture of a half, a third, or a fourth? So that'll reinforce what you learned. And in the end.
You got it. Yeah. I first think you would. You emailed it to me. I was doing it. They want to just like dive over the. Yeah, yeah. Oh. I wish. Yeah. I want to probably make it now. That's, yeah.
But that's a really I never.
So much.
In one of our classes, it's like, she'd be like, class, we have to say yes. And say yeah. Okay. I will never make you happy. We're like paying attention to this. Yeah. I can get that you're gonna be early childhood teacher, but you're adult. No, I just put it in the. I just have to calm it down. Yeah, it's like, you know, all right, we have one group member missing. Yeah, and, so we'll, I'll explain her section. Yes, we will explain her section, and pretend that there are things. But we are going to. Love. All right, take it away, ladies.
Very much. And the desired result
Sorry. By the end of the lesson, the students will be able to demonstrate. Our central focus is, discussing solutions using the community and use the response to how this activity how this and understanding how to lesson related. So, there are assessments, they're just samples, so. They're good, but if you're able to, how they can solve, how like asking like, what was the hardest question you saw, what was the challenging thing, during that. This is the, but, very nice. So our learning objective is like, dumb, it's okay, words are hard. Giving this, additionally, students will be able to create, solve, and explain it. So, this is what we so this is probably there will be signs and students in of. So we can put the exercise will be either to 10, 15 minutes. Even for early, use your time to first. So the teacher-led training would consist of this team, and we would grab a domino thing right here. So this one has an eight and one side, I mean both sides, you know. So we put it right here, and then they would write, okay, one side is 8 + 8, and then they'll be like, that's 16. And that would be the issue. So the teacher would just, like, let's pick out another one. And yeah, all of these have like up to word, problems that are like. So,
Boy, all right, go.
And you think,
Yeah, all the-
and that's the kids, like, if it's gonna time to like, if you like the sound there.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, it's like it's low pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, some really vibrant.
And I like that it had like different levels, so, like, it's gonna be like.
You have to be. Oh,
Yeah, so.
how do you guys find all these games?
There's some weird ones that like you get to websites on there.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about, I had to like sign up, and then I signed up there. I should have done that.
It's important, they, you know, when you're on my, I thought you were gonna.
She sent it to me, I was like, oh, I don't, I clicked.
Yeah, people like the,
So yeah, so that was the game, and then students can, work using objects, if they use objects. They could, use
It's just. So I'm like,
So we have board problems, if we just like cut them into parts, and you just pick one and you can say, so to build 7 of these cubes. Just like there, and then you can.
like the build big.
And then to wrap up, the lessons will be sent back to the table and discuss among the speakers. And so the beginning discuss questions, and who will write down their answers in the text. And.
what's going on over here? I feel like the case of the giggles.
Things they excel at, things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can, if you want to show it, you don't have to show it. if you want. You have it on your.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing like.
Oh, you recognize. Yeah, I like the concept.
Real one back, really. And then someone else can in there, like, mess it all up. Right, put it back together and not. Thank you. But it's not to pick anyone. Unless it's the rose or. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see.
I really feel like this. And then she's like, I'll send you guys what.
She said to me last night.
But then she said that it was wanted to inspire. So I thought it was done.
I was thinking, cause like last week was That was like long.
It's just us sticking.
Honestly, whatever you have in document, I'm ready for the
It's just, not that anyone's going to be.
Oh, who's the other
Yeah.
Oh, it's Susan too? You're going?
I am going.
That's awesome. That's a bunch of my mom.
There's like 9 moms going.
I do remember hearing that.
I feel like my husband probably did that for my program.
Right.
You're gonna like it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I like,
That's funny.
work, one of my friends, oh, like, she got like a sweet. We're also. Yeah, I was like, I know, I'm like, man, I don't know how.
I better see my mom.
Yeah, that's. You should have. And there's my beyond the yeah. It's like, yeah, she's like real extra, like, it was like got her nails going on, like. I have like. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I went to.
Yeah, I would know. I found. They got the.
Sorry, we're talking about Beyonce and like, all right, okay, let's come back, we're back.
So we're missing one person. Our, lesson title is being about pets. Okay. So, probably just to be nice. Like, the central focus of the characteristics of pets and identifying the connect the patients together throughout the patient to the practice at the time their knowledge of book standards. For the first station, demonstrate the beginning understanding of numbers, number names and numerals. Count and understanding of how many small sets of supervising upon the items that are involved. Station two, it'll be describe common jobs and what is needed to perform these jobs for the pet. So a pet being that means describe and compare basic needs of these things, which are like what they're going to be. Station, other station, explore object patterns for order, compare, and describe. For checklists or keep the find all of control. On the without on the place. Students like the number of for station two, if possible, use the business progress report and anything else. I could jot down student services comprehension of techniques, independent navigate website, informative after gameplay, speech,
care. And then for station two formative, would be like observation, watchful turn taking, communication and reasoning, response like, why did you put this in the water group, or can you tell me that why did you need the page? And that ability to qualify an animal habitat technique. And summative for patient three, the checklist, the rubric to evaluate, the number of like matches, ability to explain or reasoning. And for the burden assessment, station one, given a size and a quick time animal food item, preschool students will count size of this, so an animal is these little spaces. Well, we roll the dice first. Oh, look, you're landing on the number three. They would like pick up. They would pick up with the freezer and three fishes, bouncing. And they would keep rolling them, so all of these would end up here. And the cat has a tummy ache and I do feel.
That's in real life. My cat's bark heavily.
We don't want to overfeed the cat. And yeah, so they would do that. If they oh. Yeah, and then give it. Again, it's a master of but children will identify and describe and distribute here. The verbal or written responses. So this is for our online one. Um, it's, they'll have it on the tablet. So they'll be the groomers. Um, have to take care. Oh.
Is this like a llama or a dog? Like, I think it's like an alpaca.
Yeah, like sorry, with what a groomer would do. So we already discussed this very well. And then for station three, there are 5 different cuts. So there's the duck, parrot, cat, dog, and fish, and then given pictures of like what they eat, and where they live, so they would have to sort it out. So for example, people with a parrot, so like they would see where would a parrot live, and then they would try to guess who they live in that, and the dog house. So then they would get along and then try again and put the page on by the parrot and what they eat as well. On top of that. And then how will the test study would have ideally already been introduced and talked about during social time morning meeting. The dramatic play area could have already been put into the office, bedroom, and shop. At the end of the morning meeting, the people will the youth activity. Then one, then they will be directed to the which group they will start in, and if the teacher is at the station, they will once again reiterate what the goal is in taking that picture, for example, picture one, we'll roll the dice, count the dots, and put the animals the right number of streets, but let's watch out how much we give him before he gets up to me. We don't watch them. Picture three, the work with friends to match plans to where they live and where they meet. Which one? From your and then to wrap up, a little bit. Yeah, so you can. Why did you? That was just like an interactive slide. Yeah. This is it. So you read up that, read aloud book, also to ask some questions about that. Yeah, so after they read this book as a kind of a wrap up. And then a few minutes more questions. Like, story, what is the book, what book, yeah, it's like,
I really, that's what I'm, right?
I think I met them like this. That's. That's really all. Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Say. You have to say class when it starts.
Say class.
Got everyone's attention.
Uh, so, our subjects for first graders and states, focusing on, so, so for
actually gonna you guys like do this stuff. Okay, so for the teacher line station, it's like, so each student is, or you can do it in pairs, is gonna draw a starting number, the bag of numbers. And so you guys are gonna draw a number. That's for example, if you pull up the number 43, from the game, you'll put your starter on 43. And so once everybody gets a start and they all have a starting number, then you go back to the first person that pulls the number and they roll for, I guess for higher, the only thing you could do, like, they would have to roll both of them and add that together and find out from there. But for the students, just first grade, so you can do the easiest, so they'll have to roll. And so if I landed on 4, so from 43, I'd have to count on 4 spaces, and I would move my marker up 4 places, and so I would just keep repeating till everybody gets a turn, and you wouldn't pull another number, you just keep going from where you landed last. And so the goal is to get to 100 first, but again, because ideally each station would be like 10 to 15 minutes, so if the timer runs out, then whoever was the closest to it. You can. You want to read it or read it?
So they,
No, yeah, Alex and Cecily, I tried to like go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they will do the following, like, you just count forward up to 100. And, like, this is the, and so, each student has their own account, and that's what each student, how many places the student does hold. And it's able to start the process on the activities and work. So they're gonna,
They'll
pick up the
yeah.
activity.
So there's 3, so just in case again, because it's like 10 to 15 minutes, if they're able to get through it faster, they have multiple activities. And then so for the collaborative station, which is gonna be you guys. So you could, well, you could sit, you don't have to stand. But you guys are gonna be in a circle, and again, it's like the other group, you guys are gonna pick a starting number in the bag. So you start at 56, whoever has, there'll also be a designated person for the timer and to write down that. So if 56 is the starting number, the next person, so you pull 56, if you pull the number at 56, you say 57, and you're gonna pass the ball to the person next to you, and they're gonna have to count on, and you probably all right. But the goal is for the students to get as close as they can to 100 before the timer runs out. There's designated student to start the timer and write down what number they counted up to for each round. So there'd be a paper for this station, and you write. So if you only got up to 85, you'd write 85 for round 1. And it would be kind of like a competition at the end of it to see who got like how many rounds they were able to do. And then if you wanted to challenge the kids, you could have them count on by 2s, 5s, and 10s, especially if you make the groups to where you have more advanced students do work.
Yeah. The activity.
Yeah.
You started 3 minutes. Yeah. Well, you don't.
Yeah.
But
9.
here, yeah. Oh, I put an hour into this.
So then they use that.
Yeah. So 12. Oh, 12. And then you can do it for the teacher. You guys have to like help out with that. But you have to say you're starting with the way.
Starting with 13.
There you Yeah, but I told them that. They would have to stay with that structure, and each time they go and do it, they would stay with it, starting with it, what they. And how many they counted. Yeah. Yeah, I know, I did 98.
17 plus 3.
98.
Now we come back with.
Then you read, so, yeah. That too. Then you keep going.
Then you go the way until 100.
So.
I saw that you had a ball. I was like, this is gonna be chaos.
But, yeah. Good job. Got it. That's what it's, check this out. Years ago. Fourth grade now. But I refuse to let go. Some people let go.
Everyone, good job. Good job, everyone. Made it to the end of this class. I know that there are many more things that you have to do this semester.
Apparently, we just added another assignment.
Well, good thing that we're gonna finish early, so y'all can work on that in here. Till your class.
Oh.
Get those presentations all tidy. Yeah. Well, do your course evaluations. That's all I can say. And then you can give feedback. If you haven't done course evaluations in this class, please do so. And yeah, do it now. I'm gonna bring you all something though. Yeah, so this is it. I have nothing else planned for today. Do you have any questions, thoughts? Things that are lingering? Yeah. Yeah, as long as it includes all of the information that's like from that template. Yeah, you don't. No, you can send your reflections, your thoughts, if you'd like. Yeah, any questions? That you want to questions? Oh.
Thank you already.
No, this is done. We're putting this to bed.
Right.
Yeah, so, okay, so yeah, I will see you all next semester, which is super exciting. And you don't get to see this group of students again, and so I'm excited to be able to see you again. Oh, yeah. I don't know, it's like you guys have had me remote. Yeah. You guys are like my baby. You know? I had them in. Was that 303? 301, this one and. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of you guys, yeah. All right, well, yeah, so that's Yeah, I have to say it's been a great semester. Thank you all for being so wonderful. For making this class fun and lively and, making more fun here every week. And, I always say this to everyone that once you're my student, you're always my student and you're still gonna be my student next semester. So you're not again. And then we'll graduate. Are you gonna come to this? I'm definitely.
Make sure you guys.
Yeah, I can't always go, but yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab something and bring it to you guys, and you guys can stay here and work on your stuff. I don't know, complain about, do whatever it is that you do when I leave. I'll be right back.
Listen, I ordered it for 27. I told her, I was like, it is the corner of Brooklyn Central Park. You got it. And your computer. Like, that's so cool. Hey.
Yeah, I'm presenting.
The young child mathematics.